Hey, welcome back to Hidden Assets. I'm Chris,
And I'm Ryan.
and we're casting the Raygun Lounge Store Championship, which took place on February 8th, 2015. And on the left, we have Jared, who we saw take down Thomas against, what was he playing? Kate versus
Blue Sun.
Blue Sun. And here we have him playing his corp, Engineering the Future, which is something we haven't seen for a while. But
So the interesting thing is so you said he in the last video that he hadn't played for a while and was just coming back to the game.
yeah,
So he sort of took two old reliables since he didn't know what was going on.
yeah, I think
that was
so.
a strategy, just like very familiar decks. Probably a good way to go.
Yeah. Well, good decks piloted by good players equals good results, man. So on the right, we have James, and he's got a spiffy playmat from inkplaymats.com, and he's playing Andromeda. So,
Yeah, I've played against James in the Andy deck, and he's very good with it.
oh, yeah. So we'll see what goes here. He looks like he's got a really solid hand, and he's going to keep it. Jared's looking at Biotic Agenda, Money, Ice, Jackson. Or, sorry, Money, Ice, Jackson, something like that.
Yeah, seems pretty good.
Looks like we're going to
So
go
you,
Ice.
you're an HB player a little bit, Chris. So.
Well, I started with HB. It was one of my favorite early identities when the game was kind of in its infancy back with Spin Cycle. But yeah, I really like HB. I mean, the fact is it's getting a credit for installing things is really, really, really good.
So he already has what 10 credits here, right? Because
Yep.
of the ability. Yep. So you can res both of those pieces of ice. And wow, that is such a good start. I have never really played much HB. I played a little cerebral imaging and a little stronger together, and I've sort of stayed away from engineering or engineering the future.
Yep, engineering the fun.
Engineering fun, yeah.
All right, James is going to Desperado. He's kind of contemplating the order of his next two things. He's going to run HQ, sees a Biotic. That is a pretty interesting play. Usually don't see Andy's running unless they really don't have run events, so he must not have any. Or he's got a couple of duplicates in hand, so...
Interesting. Did he mulligan? I did not see if he mulliganed.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, he kept it.
Yeah.
So you see, this is another good play. So Jared dot. I don't know if he has an agenda or not, but you don't want to reveal the ice to the criminal before you see the account siphon. Like you don't want them to know
Right.
that they can siphon you.
And
Good play.
James runs R&D and doesn't see anything. Sees an ice.
Wow.
There's a fairy.
No res. I'm really curious what those ice are. No res on either of those. With plenty of money to do it.
Looks like he might toss. Wow. This is kind of I think this is a greedy keep, to be honest. He's got breakers. He's got a sneak door. There is a fairy and a desperado, but he's going to have to toss two cards now.
So he kept with no money cards?
Yeah. He kept with the desperado solely.
Oh.
That is crazy.
Wow. And he pitches the sneak door.
Yeah. Well, he did have some good tricks in hand. He has a shutdown. So if he ran... So what I might have done is run R&D first, then run HQ to shut down the R&D ice. Like, that might have been a better order. But it still worked out in his favor. He got 2 free accesses and 2 credits. So not too bad.
Losing the sneak door hurts because he probably only has one or two max. You're not Gabe, so you don't have 3.
So, running HQ. Seeing card. NAPD. He's going to pay for it. So James is quickly on the board with 2 points. And I don't know. That's a tough one, man. Taking the NAPD so early. And run archives for credit and a sucker token.
Oh, that's okay.
Twice.
That's going to be shut. I imagine that's going to be shut off fairly quickly.
Yep.
Especially he's got Jackson to find answers. So, oh, okay. Biotic.
And here's a biotic ABT. Yep. Does he run it?
Yeah,
He's
you
got Jackson. You got to run it.
Might as well.
It's a really, really good play here. Looks like he hits at least one ice.
So did he top deck the ABT? Because he wasn't resing the HQ ice, so I'm thinking he must have top decked the ABT.
I think he might have. Yeah. That's a victor. That is going to seal off HQ for now. Pretty solid. Victor 2. Run archives. 2 Adonis campaigns. Oh, he might have wanted to see those.
Yeah, that's
That's
unfortunate.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Especially because he had the Jackson to get rid of any agendas, so you would have rather almost seen agendas there in a weird way.
Yeah, I know, right? And shuffle the deck and yeah, get on with the
Not lost
game.
your econ, yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. He could shuffle it back if he really wants to, and HB will have more money. So
So if this is me, I always freak out. Like I would be looking for ice for archives like right now. I hate when they have the access to archives in the Desperado.
now that inner HQ ice can't be very good because he just clicked through the Victor on his last click.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was. It must be
It's
awful.
either not very good or a mass or it's a, like eight strength or eight to res or something like that.
Might be a Grim. If it's a Grim, it's totally useless right now. So, yeah. All right. Install credit. It's Jared's favorite play. Just like install credits. That's all he needs to do.
Well, when you're playing engineering the future, it's awesome because you can just install and gain money. It's such an amazing ability, and I don't think that I think it will always be the baseline of amazing in Netrunner. If anything's better than that or gets much better than that, then it's going to be busted.
James runs R&D and sees an itchy 1.0. Oh.
That's okay. Not great. You're just going to lose the ferry.
Will he? Or I don't know. I might actually just click through this, save the ferry. That seems like.
But you don't. Well, okay. How many clicks does he have left?
I think this is click 1.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah. Then not a big deal.
it's
I was
either
gonna
click
say
1 or
you,
2.
you for sure don't want to lose the data sucker. So
Oh, yeah, totally. It looks like he will ferry it. Um, I. Yeah, I guess. Oh, is he? Yeah. Is he ferrying it or is he clicking through? It's hard to tell. I think he must have clicked through. Yeah, it looks like he clicked through, I guess. Crazy.
we need those click trackers.
I think he's thinking that, obviously there are going to be more itchies around. There might even be a roto turret here, and
Right.
having
Yeah.
that ferry is a really big deal. Um, he has a kind of a slow hand. He looks like he sees his Yogg in hand. He's got his Yogg. He's got a special order. So he's got at least 2 more breakers. Oh, and he's got a corroder. So he has his whole suite in hand, effectively. Um,
There's the ice on archives.
Yep.
So
Gonna see a purge here soon, probably.
yep. I think so. It's a problem though. If HQ really is, you can probably get a token on HQ if that ice is really not. Ooh, Yogg.
That's a really good here.
Time to go into HQ. I think,
Yeah.
especially before they purge, because you gotta get some value before those are gone.
No res. Oh, Director Haas. Director Haas, that could have been 6 points total for James. He's just too broke right now, but holy
Wow.
mackerel, yeah.
Wow.
And the shutdown on the itchy, run R&D. Some really solid plays here.
This is the criminal early. This is a criminal at its like best in the early game. Just all sorts of tricks and messing with the corp. It's
Well,
awesome.
now seeing that seeing what he's done with what he started with, that kind of greedy keep with the Desperado, Special Order, Corroder, and a bunch of other crap that he's not going to play, seems okay,
It seems okay, but I think if Jared had had a little bit different ice that was maybe resable, I think it would have been turned out a little bit different.
Sure.
But it's working out. So
Yep.
because that second ice behind Victor not being rezzed is very strange. Like it's got. I mean, I wonder if he's running like Heimdall or
Yeah, he is. He is.
EC2. Yeah.
I've seen a couple of really big ice when I played him.
I'm not a big fan of Heimdall 1. That thing disappoints me every time. It's like, oh, I'll just take some brain damage and get through. And I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, just 1 brain damage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Heimdall 2 is very good, though.
Heimdall 2 is very good. It's also a lot more expensive though. So That 3 extra credits is actually a big deal because the no Adonis ticking is huge here. That's holding Jared back a little bit here.
Yeah, it is. Install gaining a credit. It looks like he's gonna probably set up some money in this server. That's what I'd be expecting him to do, but he's just gonna gain some money and install stuff and pass the turn.
Does James still have a special order in his hand?
Yes.
Okay. So he has basically an entire rig.
Yeah, he has corroder, he has special order. Looks like he just drew a legwork, which is really solid now. I mean, HQ
That
is
could be
open.
good.
Yeah. Although, I mean, are there agendas in HQ? Well, he knows there's a Director Haas. He knows there's a Director Haas.
He only has 2 credits right now, though.
Yeah, 2 credits.
Um,
Drew another sucker, so
Director Hawes is an interesting play. Like that's a ballsy card to include in your deck. I think.
I love it. I think it's great. I want to see Director Haas played more. I mean, it's just it's an easily well balanced card because trashing something for 5 is not easy.
Hmm.
But getting the benefit out of it for 3 credits for the corp is just phenomenal. Like, I mean, scoring basically half of HB's agendas out of hand is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it is interesting. There is very risky though. Like I won a couple games because of being able to trash the Director Hawes when I've had it played against me. So I don't know. It's I wish it was actually only worth 1 agenda point. I think if it was worth 1, we maybe they'd be too strong. But 2 is a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I think if it was worth 1, everyone would play it in HB.
Yeah.
And then HB Fast Advance would just be 3 Director Haas, 3 Sand City Grids, 3 Biotic Labors.
Yeah,
And
it
then-
probably is balanced, right?
Yeah.
I just would like it. I just would like it to be a little less risky.
And we got an R&D run. No res first. Second, here comes the Itchy again. Well, that's fine for James. He's got a ferry. He's really trying to get rid of the ferry, though. My intuition is telling me that the second ice on HQ is a destroyer, and that's why he keeps rezzing the Itchy. And,
Yeah,
and I think
that's
he's trying to bait
possible.
I think he's trying to bait the run on HQ, but he's just a little bit short on cash right now.
Oh, do you let him trace? No. What?
So I'm not sure what do you do here. I guess you trace. Yeah, you just traced, bumped it by 2, and sees an Eli on top of R&D.
There you go. We would have liked that earlier.
Yeah.
Jared is broke now then though.
Jared's broke, and James is more or less broke.
3, but
He's got 6 sucker tokens and a Desperado.
it's interesting because you could definitely go. You could go if those are Adonises. You could go look in those remotes right now if you wanted,
Yeah.
because you'd get a credit for it. You get a credit for it, and he can't res that dice. I mean, I have to imagine they're Eves or something like that, but I like to know.
All right. Runs HQ and snags an NAPD.
Well, yeah, just enough.
HQ is being very forthcoming with the agendas right now.
Yeah, I really want to know what that second piece of ice is.
Just crediting up and passing the turn. Now,
This is like this is the poorest I've ever seen in HB. This is unfortunate for Jared. I think
Yeah.
he just hasn't got the money.
Oh man, he would have had 2 Adonis campaigns, and he would have been in the money. Man, that's a bummer.
It's an interesting thing that normally you're like sad when where you're happy when there's no agendas into the archives, but in this case, this was almost more devastating than agenda. I mean, with the Jackson out, it is more devastating than the agendas going into the archives.
Yeah. So, what do you do here as Jared?
This is really tough because now he has 2 fairies, and he can come into he can get into both your centrals. You've proven to him that he can get into both your centrals without even using a fairy.
Yeah. It seems like
I'm looking for. I think you need money. That's really all there is to it. That
Right.
you without money you can't do anything. So I think he's got to find money. I mean, more ice is fine, but if you don't have the money to res it, then it doesn't matter at this point.
Yep.
Money
That's what he does. Money up, install over the ice on archives, so we don't get to find out what that was.
I think he's gonna try. He's planning for a purge here. He's trying to set it up because the ice on archives must have just been not able to stop the sucker tokens. So he has to stop the sucker tokens. Otherwise, that Yogg is just gonna. It's like it makes Victor worthless.
I have a feeling that the ice over archives is Eli.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So he has 6 credits. It's not enough for a Rototurd Eli, but it's pretty close. So it looks like Runner is just going to get some money and legwork.
I'll try to close it out right here.
Is he going to res that second ice, that mystery piece of ice that we've been speculating about this whole game? He's thinking about it. It does not look like it. This could be the game if there's an agenda in there. First card, Eli, nothing. Second card, Jackson. Third card, Ash. Okay. Do you trash the Ash here? No, it lets him have it. He's pretty poor. There's an Eve campaign. It was some money.
Yep.
And now the drip economy starts to take hold, hopefully.
Now you can actually purge and still now it's okay to perfectly great to purge because you have, especially if the Eve gets to tick down, because then you're gaining money and you're not just wasting 3. I mean, you're getting a little bit more than just the purge with your drip econ going. So that's pretty good. This is where I'm criminal. I start to panic that I'm not going to be able to close out the game. Because this is I play whenever I play against HB.
Yeah.
I usually, you get after that quick start. I used to play a lot of game. You get after that quick start, and the ice slowly starts to be rezzed, and the runs get more and more expensive, and you eventually get locked out.
So it looks like our runner draws a Dirty Laundry, and I think he's contemplating Dirty Laundrying that remote, which might be a good play here.
Yes, I'd be well. How much money does Jared have? I can't see on the dice.
See, Jared has 6 credits. Yeah, there's
Okay.
his black and red dice are not very easy to see for me either. So I don't.
It's like we need to encourage tokens and click trackers.
Yes. So it looks like we've got a Dirty Laundry run on HQ. And this is just a money run, so is he going to really res this now? I can't. If it's a barrier, he's good.
Okay, so 6 credits. What is it? What's the range there? It's nothing great. I mean,
Could be another Victor.
I feel like he would have rezzed that by now. Because you want to be burned. You want you want those sucker tokens to be used.
Maybe it's an Itchy. If it's a second Itchy, then it's just worthless right now. All right, so it goes through, gains an access, and sees a Biotic. Okay. Gotta love how James plays it. Puts the credits on the card, does all of his activated abilities or triggered abilities, and then takes the money off the card. It's really.
I've been
really
trying
good.
to get better, at that because it's very enjoyable to play the game when the other person is being very clear about what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's very nice when both people are doing it. It makes things so much clearer because the game is getting a lot more complicated and there's so many different little interactions now that it helps to have everything spelled out for you.
James is running R&D, and it looks like there's no res.
Man, well, now I'm curious about what both of those dice are because this is match point, right? I mean, he can steal NAPD. This is just we're 1-5 to win right here.
Yeah, and now he's got double data suckers, so
Yeah.
man, you got to be worried that anything he gets through is just going to put him more and more ahead. All right. So he's going to use a ferry. No problem. Get some sucker tokens and a credit. I love that. I love the using of the sucker tokens so that you can gain a credit, so you don't have to actually pump the ferry. It's a really subtle way to gain money and gain ground as Andromeda.
All right. Yeah.
All right, so Corp is kind of on the back foot here.
Well, he's got the money coming in now. Now you could I mean, now you definitely could purge, but it all depends on what that ice is. Like without double the two ice res on both the centrals, I don't see. I mean, I don't understand. I guess we'll figure it out when we see the ice finally, but I don't understand why it hasn't been res yet. Now he has the money and he's getting even more money.
It must be a big ice. It's probably a Heimdall. That's my guess. So he was pondering that one on HQ for a long time, so he must have had the credits to res it. It must be
Yeah.
6 or less. So maybe a Grim, maybe a Victor, maybe an Itchy. It's like drawn and discarded.
Grim is interesting. I haven't seen Grim in a long time. I haven't seen anyone run Grim for a while. But again, like you said, he's running sort of old reliable decks, so maybe he does have the Grim.
So right now, it looks like we're just taking a little bit of a mental break. Thinking about what to do.
Man, playing HB, you always want a little bit of a mental break.
So James has a Siphon, Corroder, and Special Order. He doesn't need the Special Order.
Okay, so if you would you have let that Jackson sit there that long? I'm shocked that Jackson is still there.
I think it was okay because he was trying to get ahead while he had no money. So like having Jackson on the board and drawing you cards is fine if you're completely broke, because effectively that money isn't being used to install advanced ice. So, but once things get out of control, you can definitely deal with it. You definitely want to trash Jackson whenever you can, but it's hasn't been pressing, and James is so far ahead right now that
I'm just surprised because that's sort of that's one way for the HB player to get back in the game is finding exactly what they need.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, you're absolutely right.
I know. I almost always regret it when I can't trash Jackson or when I don't.
And that's a pop-up window, and there is a daily business show on that remote. Nah, that's tricky. That's new stuff.
Yeah,
That's
that
new
is new
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. So at this point, this Order and Chaos had come out, and everyone's been playing that. It's really funny, though. We haven't seen any Order and Chaos really in the top 8 yet. I know there was a lot at the tournament, and I
Right.
know we'll see some later on, but not yet. Seeing a lot of old stuff, or semi-new stuff.
Daily business show. Every corp can use daily business show.
Yep. That's so good.
I was actually thinking about it in Wayland the other day. I was thinking, maybe I should put it in the, it can help you find your combos a lot quicker.
It's pretty good in Gagarin.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah. James has six.
James
credits.
has 6 credits. Yep. Looks like he's making a run on R&D.
So this is where I really wish I had like you can pretty much assure yourself of closing the game out if you get Katie Jones, because this is where your money starts to dry up a little bit, and if you need that long term money, and Katie Jones is perfect for sort of just clinching the game. That or R&D interface would be awesome right here.
Yeah. James just clicks through the Itchy. The trace is 1, so he doesn't get bumped. And he sees an ice.
Jared's actually held out longer than I thought he would have. There's been a lot of accesses.
Oh, he can still biotic stuff. I think he's just looking for that agenda, but he's got to seal off R&D if he wants to top deck an agenda, right? Maybe he's going to res the business show here and try to dig for one. No, not yet. Not yet. It's not go time yet. No, that's one thing that a really good player will do is kind of let if the business show's on the table and it's not being trashed because it's too expensive to go there, to let them have individual accesses and kind of gamble, because HB already does that because its ice is so expensive. It kind of gambles on early R&D accesses, and if the accesses are turning up negative, kind of knowing when to go for it is pretty important. So Jared reses the ice over Archives, and it looks like it is is that an Itchy? I can't tell.
See it.
Hopefully he'll move it.
Oh, see, the data suckers were dry too. That was huge. So he has tokens again, and now,
No. I think it is an Eli. I think it's an Eli.
so now you feel a lot better because when you're out of data sucker tokens, you don't feel good because then like Victor is not breakable by you. Like but now he's got the tokens again, so
Yep. Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry. It's
feeling
a
a lot
Victor.
better.
It's a Victor.
Victor,
Yeah.
Victor
Yeah.
2.
Glary Victor. He's just so bright, so shiny.
All right, there we go. Double ice.
Next turn, purge. Next turn, go to town. That's probably what his plan is here.
James also let the Baradonnas tick all the way down, and so if he ends up losing this game, I that's one thing I've noticed that if I like Eve is really long term and it's expensive. Well, both of them are bad, but letting a Baradonnas go, especially with Desperado out there, I
Yeah.
don't know. That seems like a little bit loose. That's just so much money
Here's an
for
account siphon.
no clicks.
There's an Eli. Okay. Well, he can pay through that.
Yep. And then he's got enough. He can yog the Victor. So now we might actually finally see what this third ice is here.
So he's
I'm
gonna pay.
excited.
Yep. Is he resing it? Does he res it? He does. It's a Sagittarius. Whoa.
That was not what I was expecting.
Not what I was expecting either. That is cool.
Oh, he burned the fairy.
Yep. And siphons him. All right. Well, wow. That's really cool.
Points for you, Jared. Completely shocking me on what that
Yeah,
is.
yeah. After all of that, it
Yeah.
kind of paid off too.
Well, he got rid of the fairy.
Yeah. Now HQ's
So
kind of open. Well, no, it's sorry, it's shut off because if he goes back without another fairy, which he could special order for, and he might only be playing two, who knows? Those biotics are going to look really good now. See, he draws an agenda. He's got all the time in the world. So I don't know, man. Here is a special order.
you got to get a Sentry Breaker, right?
Yeah, do you get Mimic? Yeah, you get Mimic. And he's going to install Mimic. And then check R&D. Now you got to R&D lock him. You know that there's not much in hand. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
No more R&D interface. R&D interface would make you feel so much better.
There is Inazuma. Unexpected.
Oh my god.
Unexpected.
Oh, he's got the Yogg,
He does have the Yogg, but
but then he doesn't have.
then
Then
he
he
can't
doesn't
get through
have
the Itchy.
Yeah.
Oh. But
That
does
was
he
a
have enough?
so-
I think he has enough clicks to click through it, though.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to.
I think what you're gonna need to do, Chris, is like have just like buy some click trackers and have them like by the camera, and then when people sit down at the table, they have to like put the click trackers out there.
Use the click trackers, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is his third click because he installed the Mimic after a special order. So it looks like something is going to get trashed here,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
which is kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal, but he might just win right here.
That's true. All right, so he's going to break that and jack out. Yep. So he's going to break the Inazuma and jack out. That's a good play.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, yeah.
He lost his tokens though. That's huge.
Yeah. Well, now the HB player, the door is open.
I'm surprised he hasn't. Oh, there it goes. Oh,
That is a Sand and something else, probably Ash. So,
wow.
okay.
Did he trash? He trashed Daily Business here. He never used it.
Yep. Well, at the moment, HQs and R&D are all shored up. So
So this is the spot where you took tags, right? So now you need to, if you want Katie Jones, you have to like slow down and clear the tags. This is the scary part when you're a criminal. This is where you're like, uh-oh, had this massive lead and now I just might lose.
So James is going to run that remote, and there's an Ash there, which he trashes. And he's thinking about going back in. If he goes back in, he's not going to have enough. He takes a credit, and now he's going to run back in and trash that Sand, looks like. Yep. He knew it was Sand. We all knew it was a Sand. So
So he saw it on top, right? Or no, he didn't go through there. So no.
no, I mean, I think he thought it was a Sand. I mean, I would think so too. I don't know.
So what do you think Jarrett's influence is two Sands, three Jacksons?
2 daily business shows.
Two daily
Inazuma,
visionships. Inazuma.
and pop-up windows. Is that is that right?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's about right. And Jared has what, 15 something credits? I mean,
Yeah,
Biotic is on, right? I
Jared's
mean,
at 15 credits. Yep.
so if you were in James's position right now, what would you be doing?
Ooh, well, he just drew a siphon. I probably would get some money and try to siphon next turn. Uh,
He has a big problem with, well, it that you could, but it's
there's a
really
biotic.
tough. It's tough now. He doesn't have his tokens anymore. He
And
has no
wow.
good answer for the victors.
So Jared just fires off a beta test and hits a errand boy. Whoa. Okay,
All right,
so
well, there's another influence.
there's one influence. Yeah. So I think we've seen all of his influence now. I can't imagine he's splashing more than one of those, but it's 2 to 4 or 2 to 6. Sorry, 4 to 6. And James runs archives and sees an Eli, and probably is going to bounce. Yep, he's going to bounce. This game is turned on its head.
Yeah.
Really,
That's
really
why I
turned.
was saying, like, when you start to lose, like, not be able to get tokens anymore, it gets scary. And I would have probably looked for Katie Jones and an R&D interface.
Well, it looks like Jared is going to fire off another biotic labor and score his 6th points with Vitruvius. And now James has got to be thinking, all right, well, I've seen all the betas, or I'm sorry, I've seen all of the biotic labors, and now I just need to kind of wait maybe. He's got to score normally or off of a Sansan. It doesn't look like his deck is really set up. It doesn't look like Jared's deck is really set up to slow advance. It seems like he can, but James decides to go R&D, running through the errand boy. He's going to let it fire. And it looks like Jared is going to gain a bunch of credits. And he's just going to plow right through this? Oh, wow. I don't know if I agree with this. James is going to sacrifice his programs. That's game. Whoa, glory run by James. Just lets the Inazuma Itchy fire. And he
Wow.
top decks the last agenda. That was really... he's not happy with that play. I saw him grab a passport in hand, and I think he must have thought he installed it because he was reaching for his credits to break the Inazuma. And then Jared said, no, 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 you still have Yogg. And he said, destroy this, then top decks the last agenda. Wow. That was
That
unexpected.
that's crazy.
That was a crazy
That
game.
was crazy. Yeah. The thing is like it might have felt like a. I mean, from the Andromeda perspective, you just feel like you're not going to get. You don't have many more chances. Like the game's just slipping away. So that was a great play.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at hidden_assets and check us out online at www.hidden-assets.net. And we'll see you next time on Hidden Assets.